has done a lot for our island community throughout the course of her career. Language. There she is. Good morning, Auntie.
Manana si Zeus.
Okay, and let me
Tuluhamzu.
yeah, let me just say because Auntie Rosa, you were I believe you were doing something. You were on the phone, but we just had a wonderful segment where our Cami Egurola, I believe you know the Egurola family. There's Neil is her father. Did a lot of wonderful things, but she made vegan champaladu. I know you know a thing or two about champaladu.
It brings back childhood memories.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I think just about every child who goes to the public schools and those private schools that offer chamorro, in the elementary schools would know what sampalado is.
Do you make it with coconut milk?
Sometimes it just depends that, like, my children will probably say, oh, this tastes a little different. And that's because they're used to just regular milk. Regular milk meaning not coconut milk. Yeah. But coconut milk is healthier.
Which do you prefer?
I actually prefer I grew up with the coconut milk version.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to try
So,
that. Well, the reason why we brought Rosa on was to talk about PIBBA and also how it is the holiday season, the spirit of giving, and you guys made a generous donation to people in need over at Global Dorms.
yes, we did. When people are in need and we are more fortunate, it's very difficult, at least for me personally, to bypass the announcements that are being made. Many of us, or quite a bit of us, are more fortunate, and if we could spare just a little bit of what God has provided for us, that would be great, particularly during this time. We not only have the pandemic, but it also is the Christmas season, and the Christmas season, for me is giving from the heart. But again, my bias is Christmas is my favorite, even next to my birthday, of all the holidays there are. There's just something about Christmas that warms my heart. And, I have to say that this Christmas with the pandemic and then the loss of two of my brothers and one of my brother's wife who passed away, it was very trying for my family and I. But when I went to our church and I saw all the Christmas trees decorated a couple of weeks ago, I said, okay, I'm going to have to do something Christmassy at our home. It just kind of lifts your spirits up a little bit. For me, it's like the world ain't so bad, There are good things happening, and there are good people. And I needed to be a part of that, and to also continue my tradition of celebrating however it is we do with our family. We just can't gather, because I have a large family, but I can certainly say, hey, how about if you guys, this family, come this evening, and then maybe the next evening, another family will come by, so that we don't go over the requisite protocol number. So anyways, with our donation, we saw one of our secretary, actually, Dr. Debbie Ellen, two first names, hard to not remember. Dr. Debbie Ellen sent us a message on our chat and also shared the newspaper article on the need for baby items, diapers, formula, baby wipes that came out on the paper for the children. And we were particularly concerned. We're concerned for all the children, but most of us are grandparents. So the need for diapers and the need for formula is close to our hearts, right? So, and the 0 to 24 months was what caught our eye. So that's why we decided, let's focus on the diapers and the formula. The downside to that was that we do not know if any of the babies are sensitive to any, for example, any of the diapers. I've learned a lot about diapers. We just had our first grandson almost exactly a year ago. So I have, even though my oldest child is now 30, it just kind of brought me back. And also, we didn't know what particular formula they needed. And so after our coordinator, Senora Ruth Mendiola, made contact with Paula Calvo, I believe, up at the Catholic Social Service organization, director or acting director Paula said, it doesn't matter what kind of formula, and the diapers, they'll take whatever they can. So as a result of that, within less than a week, actually, we put out our this motion to donate to Catholic Social Services for the babies at the Global Dorm Hotel. And within 3-4 days, we had our donation. So we put out the call Monday and we collected everything Thursday, and on Friday we dropped it off. I wish that we could say we donated 100 boxes of diapers, and 50 cans of formula, but we collected what we can from our giving members. I'd also like just to add here that the Pacific Islands Bilingual Bicultural Association, Guam chapter, is not a large organization. We have like 25 active members, 25 to 30. So when we put out, our request for this, we take in whatever our members can provide. If it's a box or a package of diapers, we'll take them. We're very open-hearted. We just take anything and everything as long as it's not expired, or you know how some people would donate expired items. You have to kind of sift those out. And that there are in unused condition, because that is very necessary. We don't want to add any more to the trauma and to the inconveniences that these individuals we are giving to, have. So I am very grateful for our members, even though we are a few, but we were able to fill 2 shopping carts to the brim, way over the top, actually, of items. But I'm very
Rosa, hi, good morning. I'm sorry.
Good morning there, Andy.
Hi, nice to see you. I had a question about the association. I'm not too familiar about it. You said it's a relatively small one. Can you just tell me a little bit of the history of the Pacific Island Bilingual Bicultural Association?
Sure. Actually, in 1980, there were a group of what we refer to ourselves as the Title VII directors. At that point, we were the directors of the Bilingual Bicultural Education Act that was funded by the federal government, of course, and the Bilingual Bicultural Education Act impacted Guam, Hawaii, and then all of the islands of Micronesia. I mean, that's true, all of the islands of Micronesia, and of course the entire United States. Well, Guam had made that application, and we were accepted. And then once a year, the federal government calls the Title VII directors. So I'm talking like 10, 12 people together for a meeting. That's where we do all the, here's what's changing, don't do this, that sort of thing. What are the new things? Anyways, as a result of one of the meetings in 1980, the Pacific Islands Title VII director, or from our area, I think it's probably best to call it the Micronesian portion of the Pacific Islands, got together and said, let's form an organization. And we did. I believe Dr. Robert Underwood was our first president. That time he was heading one of the Bilingual Education Act funded programs at the University of Guam. So that was instituted, and then Guam, we formulated an organization a few years after that. So that's why we have the Pacific Islands Bilingual Bicultural Association and Pacific Bilingual Bicultural Association Guam chapter, because I'm speaking for Guam chapter. I'm also treasurer for the international organization. And one of our goals is to not just disseminate information on what's going on in the bilingual, bicultural, multilingual, multicultural world throughout the nation and throughout the world, if I get information on that, to our members, but also to promote and support those teachers, particularly the teachers who are teaching a heritage language, because I think that's the going word now, a heritage language in their schools or anywhere. It could be, they could have a group of 5 people, I suppose, at home if that's what they're doing, but it's primarily for support purposes and dissemination. Our particular organization, small as it may be, have, voted a couple of years ago that we want to do little things for the community. And it could be in the form of, for example, when the Northern Marianas got hit by the consecutive typhoons, we gathered our efforts and donated, cases of water. I mean, the cases of water measured, not 100, but it was, by the time we stacked them, 6 stacks in a row, they were taller than me. So we can only give what we can. And I am so grateful because at that, Senator Will was able to transport some of those waters, as well as Senator-elect Frank Blas Jr. We wouldn't be able to transport it. We don't have a boat, but there are people out there who are willing to do this kind of stuff. And we just have to look or listen for them, because they're being announced left and right. And then one of the things that we've been, a couple of things that we've also done is, and after the pandemic, we'll continue on with it, is we have individuals, people from our island who have worked on their doctorate, finished and their dissertations are related to heritage language or culturally diverse populations. So we asked them to come and do a 1-hour presentation, give us the highlights of their dissertation results. Oftentimes we know people go off and do their work, do their PhDs or their EDDs. They go into the community and obtain their information, right, for their write-up. And then we don't hear from them. We don't hear what the results are unless you're doing research in that area and you find these things and you go, oh, here's something. But what we want to do is be proactive. And again, in support of our teachers, we want this information disseminated. So we have had Dr. Tio Cruz, who did work on some of her nursing activities, trying to find out, her research was the impact of cancer, among certain age women, Chamorro women in this case. We're now going to have, as soon as we, we're more able to have more people participate, Dr. Francine Napati, who has done research on our school-age children. So we like to disseminate these kinds of information and not wait for teachers to have to look them up and read them. At least if they hear about it, they know, oh, I heard something about this, last year. I know who to look for. The one thing now that we are working on is doing a mini educational workshop and going towards the other end of the island so that we can have more children participate. We just can't do it now because this is kind of, we can do it through Zoom, but the availability of, internet, laptops, we cannot depend on that at this point in time. So we're just going to wait it out, but we do want to do, like Dr. Debbie Ellen wants to do a workshop on, writing and putting together your own book. It's a literacy project. And we also want to tie it in with some cultural themes. And then I'm sure that we can get some of our professional cultural dancers to come in and work with the little kids on doing first steps. I have 2 left feet with this stuff, it's kind of hard to be ambidextrous and multitasking when you're my age, but we try so that we can demonstrate to the children. And I'm willing to make a fool of myself that way. It's okay. They're just little kids. They probably won't remember me in 10 years. But anyways, we want to build in the educational portion as well as the physical. And also to make our kids do some activities where they actually, they're always thinking for themselves, but now we want them to pick up on something and try to decide how to go from there,
Well, sounds like a great organization you've got there, and I hope that you continue for many, many years doing good in the community. So let's get back to this donation. Was this a one-off thing, or are you going to continue this program?
Well, we're having a meeting on Saturday, so we'll see what the memberships say, because we can continue to collect, and then when we have, if we can fill a cart full, it'll go off to Catholic Social Services. I know that it's Christmas time, and there are some people that those who have babies may receive diapers, right? But it isn't the right size. I've done that. Why did I give them that size? They might be willing to donate that. Like I said, we have a lot of grandmothers, grandparents in our group. So this will be something that we can mention to them, that if they get something, to please remember wipes as well, formula, bottles. They also need bottles. So anyone who's out there listening, if you have any of these items, or just go to the store and have an extra $20, see what you can pick up for $20. And you don't have to call us. You can just call Catholic Social Services, the acting deputy there, or anybody there. I just dial the number and somebody answers all the time. Right. And this is the time of, all the time is the time of giving, but particular this time. They haven't asked for toys, I guess because of the pandemic issues, but I'm also sure that those children need toys and or something. Oh, I do know that they had, Paula had mentioned coloring books, educational games, just to keep for the older children that are there. Right. So, but we haven't gotten there yet. We just got to the 0 to 24 months.
Mm-hmm. And for people who aren't familiar, Global Dorms is the homeless shelter up in Mighty that was stood up during the pandemic by the administration, and more than half, or at least half of the census there are children. And so,
that's right.
Right. So thank you, Rosa, and to PIBBA for that donation to Catholic Social Services, which operates the Global Dorms. I'm sure they really do appreciate that.
Before I leave, can I just mention that anyone who's interested, you do not have to be an educator. We're trying to get younger people in. You know, we're getting we're moving along in age here, so
Yeah, me
we'd
too.
like to pass the buck. So I'm not pass the buck, but we'd like to pass the what it is that we are doing onto the younger people. So please just call. Sabrina here and Andy knows how to get a hold of us. And then also, I just want to thank my PIBBA members for all their donation and hard work during this past year. Si Zoas Masi, Feliz Pascua, be safe, not from Southampton. Adios.
Adios. Merry Christmas.
Adios. Merry Christmas.
All right, that was Rosa Palomo. She's the president of PIBBA, and they just made a donation of diapers and formula over to the Global Dorm Hotel in Mighty. PIBBA is the Pacific
That's a great
Islands.
talk, man. Sounds
Yeah.
like a small group, like she said, but they're doing a lot of good with what they have. Their members obviously passionate about it, giving back, and focusing on that 0 to 24-month-old. That's diapers. It's not like you just buy them diapers once a year. Bree, this is a constant thing. So there's always a need for stuff like that, formula, bottles. So great stuff. Thank you so much, Rose.
And she's also making a call out for anybody that might want to join the group. Again, PIBBA's mission is to promote bilingual, bicultural activities in the Pacific Island areas of Guam, the CNMI, Palau, the Marshall Islands, Hawaii, American Samoa, the FSM, through the development of policies, dissemination of information, involvement of the community, and encouragement of quality education programs.
And if anybody who's ever known Dr. Palomo, everybody knows she has always been about community service and advocating, inafamalig and taking care of each other. And she really epitomizes, what I call, the